Over 10,000 years before the events of Angel Grove, the forces of evil would threaten the very existence of the human race. Daishi, an evil eight-headed dragon whose hatred of humanity knew no bounds, along with his loyal lieutenant Camille, would go on to initiate the Beast Wars in an attempt to wipe out humanity and pave the way for animals to rule. Only the Poishwa Order of the Claw stood between Camille and her master's total victory. After a brutal battle, Daishi was defeated by the Poishwa and imprisoned in a magical box. Camille, realizing that the war was lost, would lay dormant in the Renshi temple wall, biding her time and waiting for the day for her master's return. But Camille would not be the last in a long line of deadly female warriors. 10,000 years later, on an alternate Earth, another young female warrior would be forged in the fires of war. The Vendrix virus would infect the world's computers and conquer the planet, nearly wiping out all of humanity with its endless hordes of attack bots. Only the domed city of Corinth remained, holding off Vendrix's forces. Vendrix, in response to his unsuccessful attempts to destroy the last human city, would create Tenaya 7 as one of his top lieutenants, a beautiful but deadly human-looking attack bot. Camille appears to be a young woman in her mid to late 20s but has been alive for 10,000 years. It is unclear whether she is immortal or just remained young through lying dormant in the Renshi temple wall. As the series never states clearly if she is immortal, for this versus video I would assume she is not. Also, it is debatable whether she stayed dormant in the temple wall for the full 10,000 years, as in a later episode via flashback she is seen fighting Flit when he was human. Flit clearly says that when he was defeated by her and cursed by her, it was centuries ago, not 10,000 years ago. Later on in the Jungle Fury series, Daishi ordered the Phantom Beast generals to grant Camille the power of Rinzin. Camille became even more powerful. Rinzin power is the lifeblood of the Phantom Beast generals and the key as to why they are so powerful. Rinzin power is far more powerful than the Overlord's Staccato power. Camille's Rinzin power was that of the Phoenix. Camille never exhibited Staccato power, so for the purposes of this video it will be assumed that she does not have this ability. Tenaya 7 appears to be in her late teens to possibly her early 20s. Prior to the Vendrix invasion of her world, she was a regular human woman who so happened to be blind. After being captured by Vendrix's forces along with her brother Dylan, she was forcibly augmented with cybernetics and brainwashed to be loyal to Vendrix. Her past life as Dylan's sister was completely wiped away. Once she was reborn as Tenaya 7, she was a warrior to be reckoned with. Her physical strength is insanely strong, and her eyes were replaced with cybernetic ones, allowing her enhanced vision. Tenaya is a sadistic and cunning warrior, and able to combat multiple opponents with relative ease. What if by some quirk of fate these two deadly warriors were to meet on the battlefield? Who would emerge victorious in a one-on-one battle? Camille the mystical warrior, or Tenaya 7 the cybernetic warrior? Would Camille's dark mystical martial arts abilities overwhelm Tenaya 7? Or would the cybernetic beauty's technologically powered abilities prove too much for Camille? Now we examine their powers and abilities. Camille has the ability to absorb energy blasts from her enemies and using it to make her stronger. As seen when she absorbed the energy blast from the Jungle Fury Ranger's claw cannon and survived, she would then use this increased strength to hunt down and soundly defeat the traitor Naja. Although there is a downside to this ability, as Camille stated herself to Daishi that absorbing that kind of energy could destroy her. But in my opinion, the fact that she survived the claw cannon's blast, I truly believe that it's a very remote possibility that any blast from Tenaya 7 absorbed by Camille would kill her. Camille does have the power to increase the powers of other Renshi beasts, but I don't think this ability would help her in any way in a one-on-one fight with Tenaya 7. Camille has camouflage abilities similar to that of White Dino Thunder Ranger Trent Mercer's unmorphed powers. This allows her to blend into her surroundings, seemingly making her invisible. Camille has a poisonous lizard-like tongue that shoots out and stings her enemies and can kill most combatants. Tenaya 7, due to her cybernetics, is incredibly strong, being able to lift a pizza delivery bike with Ranger Green inside it with relative ease. Her ranged weaponry consists of a retractable wrist laser gun that she can activate at will. She is also able to take her own cybernetic hand off her arm. The hand can operate independently from her. She can mentally control it from vast distances and have it attack her opponents while standing at a safe distance. Tenaya is a cyborg, so she has both cybernetic and human parts. She has been shown to bleed when injured, a possible weakness for Camille to exploit. Camille's ability to absorb energy blasts would certainly be an asset to her, as she would be able to take any blast from Tenaya's wrist laser and use it to make her stronger. Although thanks to Tenaya's cybernetic enhancement she would be able to bring the fight to Camille and go toe-to-toe with her strength-wise, but Camille's energy exhaustion, coupled with her ability to use her poisonous tongue on Tenaya's human parts of her body, would certainly hamper or at least slow Tenaya down. Plus, Camille's camouflage ability would certainly be too much for Tenaya. The fact is, Camille has more powers at her disposal, so I have to give the edge to Camille. Camille's preferred weapon is a pair of side cutter. These twin weapons are three-pronged weapons used for defense as well as attack. She is shown on numerous occasions to be an expert in handling these weapons. The side weapon can be used as a throwing weapon like spears. This could come in handy against Tenaya 7, whose preferred weapon of choice is a wrist-mounted laser gun. The downside for Camille is that she possibly only has 2 shots at throwing her sides at Tenaya 7, whereas Tenaya has multiple chances to blast Camille away, and it would be a sure bet that Tenaya 7's marksmanship wouldn't let Camille get close enough to use her side weapons. For this point, I give the edge to Tenaya 7. Both warriors are exceptional martial arts combatants in their own right, Camille being trained in martial arts for most of her life, giving her a lifetime of experience in unarmed combat. She is more than capable of holding her own against powerful or multiple opponents. Tenaya too is a capable martial artist, her fighting skills probably being programmed into her by Venjix. As I said earlier, she can more than handle herself against multiple opponents. What my verdict boils down to is this. Tenaya, who has essentially only been an active warrior for a few years, could she defeat Camille, who has a lifetime of experience of martial arts training? In my opinion, no. Where it wouldn't be an easy victory for Camille in hand-to-hand combat with Tenaya 7, I do believe Camille's experience would prove the decider in her emerging victorious, so I will give this verdict to Camille. And now the verdict. It is in my opinion that Camille would emerge victorious against Tenaya 7. Basically, it really comes down to the fact that Camille has too many powers for Tenaya 7 to cope with in a one-on-one confrontation. That being said, Camille wouldn't walk away from the fight unscathed, but she would still walk away the winner. I hope my fellow fans like my video. Feel free to comment below. Maybe you believe Tenaya 7 should have won. I look forward to hearing from anyone else on what they think would be the outcome in a fight between Tenaya 7 and Camille. Please feel free to make any comments below. I'm eager to hear from fellow fans.